Let me begin by telling you that protection from psychic attack or deliberate magical attack, most of these attacks can actually be thwarted by a simple shift in your mentality. Your mind is in control of the creative self as well. And this simple shift is simply the ability to take away the attacker's power completely by non-belief. By not believing in the attacker's abilities, you will thwart about 98% of these attacks. Most attacks gain effect through the modus operandi of affecting your mind, self-doubt, and fear. This opens the gateway to these malevolent energies, and once that's done, your own mind goes to aid the attacker by lowering your defenses. However, if you deny the attacker that power over you, it has no hold, you have a very strong mind. Your mind is the first shield in any psychic attack. And this is true of even everyday situations where you empower others by being affected by what other people say or do to you psychologically. Whereas you have to be a little bit tough there. And one method to do this is if you know who you will begin by imagining the person in a frozen blue state. You more or less smurf them, and then you see them getting smaller and smaller and smaller until they're beneath your feet, very tiny and impotent, inability to do anything to you, and you simply imagine stomping on them and they just shatter into tiny pieces. So that is the first step, the shift in your mentality. Do not allow any doors to open. Close all psychic doors, all mental doors from that attacker by a shift in. We can see this because a lot of atheists do this naturally. They just don't believe in being harmed, and it's not that the attacker has no magical ability, it's just that you remove the vehicle that they use to affect you. You shield yourself, and they shield themselves this way. Everybody has an auric field, and the mental capabilities and capacity projects a lot of these force fields, amplifies them, or opens the door and lowers your guard, so to speak. So shut that first door firmly, and it will actually take care of 98% of these things. Your mind will either strengthen you or tear you down. So that's step one, full stop. The second thing you need to do is what I recommend is like raising the shields around you. And one very good exercise is by calling upon the God power, no matter which God you follow or believe in. But I like to invoke the Heavenly Father, Holy Mother. And what you would do is you would sit in meditation and then invoke the energies through the Heavenly Father, Holy Mother God, and you ask for 7 layers of golden light protection around you, and you imagine these spheres, these bubbles of golden, you could say a force field of protective light forming around you. Now they can be in 3 or 5 or 10 meters in diameter or whatever. It doesn't matter. It's up to your ability to project. And you see and feel these layers forming about you, and you're in the middle of it. So there are 7 layers of golden light protection, and they are impermeable to any attack, and they repel all attacks, all negative energies, and any malevolent projections from reaching you, and you only allow the good, that which is beneficial, to enter the sphere into yourself. So you're not blocking all energies, you're just blocking the malevolent energies. The good energies will still come through. As an extra layer of protection, you would then invoke an extra layer of orange, red flame of purification around these 7 spheres, and it's like a burning flame in spherical form around these 7 layers, and they further will disintegrate all negativity, all malevolent attacks, all harmful energies that try to focus on you. And wherever you go, this sphere and this orange red flame of purification will completely dissolve all these negative energies back into the mineral world. So this is a very, very powerful start to psychic self-defense. Everyday situations where you empower others by being affected by what other people say or do to you psychologically. Whereas you have to be a little bit tough there. And one method to do this is, if you know who the attacker is. It has a lot to do with your conscious and subconscious mind merging and forming a very powerful barrier. As you know, a lot of people believe that thought only originates in one's mind, but we know that this is not true. Everybody can be affected by the energetic mind waves and patterns and energies projected from others, especially these negative energies, and we are receptors of energy, and if we allow these negative thought patterns to affect us, if we empower others by being open to these energies, they can have psychic and psychological negative effects. So the first thing we have to do is to reprogram ourselves and implant a belief pattern in your subconscious mind. Like I mentioned, this is one kind of defense against common psychic attack that is very powerful, and this implanting of a belief pattern for the average person without a trained mind or time and desire to train your mind for this kind of psychic defense is probably the best type of mental defense against the common psychic attack. Now, people who intend to enter the area of occult studies and practicing the occult or spiritual sciences, you have to be very careful about what belief patterns you implant in yourself. You have to be careful about implanting any strong belief patterns into your mind. One thing you must do is that you must be free of any self-induced belief patterns if you're going to work in this field with any hope of success. Now, for the average person who really doesn't want to become too deep or too deeply involved in the occult, a strongly implanted belief that they will not accept any negativity or any harmful energies from others will actually do you very well in giving you protection, like I mentioned before, from everyday negativity and common psychic attacks. Now, the particular belief pattern that you're going to implant in your mind, well, that's a matter of personal preference. A few sample belief patterns, though, are, for example, you must not have any negative statements in your belief pattern. Then the second step would be that every statement that you make must be as positive as possible. And thirdly, your belief pattern must be as short as possible to be effective. The longer it is, the more difficult for the mind to process and ingrain it into the subconscious. Fourthly, your entire belief pattern must be without any exceptions. It must cover all cases. Fifthly, your entire belief pattern must be accepted as completely true by the conscious mind, by your conscious mind, okay? And lastly, the person using this belief pattern must feel that using this belief pattern will definitely 100% bring about a better life, total protection, and improve your life conditions. Now, all these statements that you make in your belief pattern have to be positive, because this is the only way your subconscious mind will accept your belief pattern. The subconscious mind will accept a positive statement over a negative statement. That's how the subconscious mind works. And when you're faced with a new program that contains both the positive and the negative, the subconscious mind will try to resolve the conflicts between them. And this actually makes everything crumble, because it has to do this before it will accept the program and act on it. So by putting any negative statements in there, you're putting like a stopper on this belief pattern from becoming effective. So this is why it's important to use only positive statements. Now, before we get into the specifics of how to write out and instill a positive belief system within your mind for protection, it is important to consider that your belief pattern that you make for yourself must be totally believable and acceptable to your conscious and subconscious mind. If it's not believable for you, or you're implementing something that you have doubt in, it's not going to work. However, once you formulate it and it's totally believable and it's practical and your mind can accept it, then this is the right way to go. Okay, so you're going to have to write down these steps and tasks, and you have to consider the rules for the new belief structures that I've outlined previously. Now, one example you could do is have a belief sentence stating, for example, if you're Christian, through the grace of God, I am no longer vulnerable, I am no longer the recipient of any negative energies or negative influences. And you can layer on these belief patterns with the next sentence. For example, the mercy and power of Mary and Jesus Christ now frees me from all negativity from every source. So it's like a prayer form, you might say. You can call upon any god form you like, the power of Osiris, the goddess, and specific deities that fit in well with your own belief structure. Okay, and these are belief patterns that you would I would recommend you repeat daily upon awakening and before retiring. Okay, so through the power of this God or Goddess, my Savior and Redeemer, I am now free from all influences which work against His or her will in my life, and I'm perfectly protected and free from all negativity. All negativity will be dissolved back into the mineral world or will rebound to the sender, and I'll be free, and my mind will be at peace. Now, whatever belief pattern and sentence that you've designed for yourself, these all can be used with equal effect. Now, you have to choose one that is the most appealing to you. So design it like a prayer form, make it positive and impactful on yourself. Now, for people that are in a household, for example, or a workplace where you're receiving continual negative bombardment from your employer or workmates, or if a relationship has gone sour, your flatmate or your partner or parent, the knowledge that you no longer have to accept or receive the pain of the attack can come up from the subconscious mind itself as a form of release and relief. Once this new belief program is established, you will be protected from the common psychic attack. This protection will last for the remainder of your lifetime. Now let's outline some physical remedies before we get into the more esoteric forms, like I did in the first part with the golden sphere, 7 layers of golden light surrounding you. One thing you should do at the end of the day, especially after a hard day at work or a stressful day, wherever you've been, whether it's business or with people out there in the city you live in, one thing you should do is try to meditate. Now, you don't have to meditate for hours, but you have to try and still that mind and relax. Now, you can meditate in a hot bath, but I recommend you meditate first in a quiet place. If you have a partner, just tell your partner that you need a few minutes, and tell him or her you're going to meditate for a few minutes, not too long, just to calm your mind because you had a hard day. Give each other a hug, whatever, and then move on and do that. Now, when you meditate, just close your eyes. It doesn't have to be fully shut. In fact, the proper form of meditation is to have your eyes partially open, and then just turn your attention inwards and just relax. Let your physical, all the physical tension in your muscles, become aware of it and let it go. You may relax by tensing that part of your body where it's your fist or your arm. Tense it and then release it. Tense it and release it. Do this for every part of your body. And then go back and turn your mind inwards and just release all those thoughts. Try to empty your mind just by letting go. Just let it go and look at that blank screen within your mind, calming. Become aware of your breath, slow it down a little, take full breaths, oxygenate your system, but don't excite yourself too much. And just let these thoughts come up, and when you're aware of these thoughts, if they're angry or excitable, just become aware that you're having these thoughts, and just shift your mind away from them back to the blank screen, and just try to calm yourself. When a thought comes up again, become aware that you're having that thought and let it go and make your mind blank. And now this will start calming yourself. Then have a hot bath, etc. Then, once you've done that, let's do some esoteric remedies. Okay, one thing that you could do, and it's a very ancient form of dispelling psychic attack from you, is a salt rub for the so-called evil eye. Okay, removing these negative energies. So what you do is you take about a tablespoon of sea salt or whatever salt you have and rub it over your sternum. This is your chest area between your breasts, so to speak. Now you rub the salt from about the navel area to the base of the throat, and then you go up and down several times. This is best done in the shower, so just before you're going to have a shower actually, or the bathtub. You know, so you don't make a mess of your kitchen or living room floor. Now you can also rub this salt on your temples, and also any other body part that seems to be a little bit sore or having problems or pains. Now anyway, this is a form of removing negativity or spiritual influences that may be present about you. Now this is a very ancient Mediterranean form of practice. Give it a try. Now one disclaimer: if you have very sensitive skin, or if you are very sweaty, be careful with rubbing salt because you may develop a rash. Make sure you are dry, so to speak. Okay? Alright. The other one, which is very good, is rubbing an egg over the affected part of your body. You know, if you feel the back of your head throbbing, you have a migraine, a headache from the so-called psychic attack, what you do is you pray for all the negativity to be removed from yourself. Now once again, it could be a god or goddess or deity that you believe in. So say a prayer or invoke that god or goddess to remove any negativity from you, and then you should focus especially on the head area and rub the egg gently over the affected part. Then make a final cross on the top of your head and on the side of each ear, and on your forehead as well. If it's a very severe case, you may need to use several eggs. Take care not to break the egg. You can also rub the egg on the chest area, the sternum, just like you did for the salt. This absorbs the psychic negativity of an attack. Whether this attack and negative energy is being sent out by a particular individual, you know, for example, in a directed attack by someone that's angry with you. Now, using the egg on the head and sternum, it's probably the best practice you could do daily or weekly for overall and general cleansing. Another method is the beer bath. This is another so-called ancient remedy to remove psychic attack, especially against the evil eye. So this is probably a foremost technique to remove negative spiritual influences from your person. The beer has the substances and materials that are very absorbent of these etheric and astral energies. So what you do is, in a bathtub, you quarter or half fill it. It's on your preference. It depends how big your bath is. You would fill it with lukewarm water, or if you're in a very hot area, it can be cool. And then you have 3 bottles of beer. The bottles should be at least 500 mils to 1 liter, 500 mils each, so 1.5 or 3 liters. Between that is fine. And you add this beer to the bath. You also add a tablespoon of salt, which you have blessed, and you can bless it by doing a simple prayer, or you can get into the more deep cleansing prayers if you like. I won't go into it at this point. Then you enter the bath and you duck your head into the bath so it covers you completely, and then of course you will relax and remain in the bath for about 5 to 10 minutes. If you have more time, that's good as well, but 5 to 10 minutes will suffice. Now the next step would be to pour this water over yourself, and then repeating the immersion method about 5 times as well. Once you've done this, you can add extra prayers to remove all negative energies. Just relax in it. When you come out, you have to allow yourself to air dry. So you may need a dryer or a fan in front of you while you're in the bath to air dry. Otherwise you could be stuck there for quite some time. Don't use a towel. Air dry. And this is why you should be doing it in the evening, because you don't want to smell of beer just before going to work. But once again, make sure your partner knows what you're doing so he or she doesn't freak out, okay? Okay, so now that we've done the auric protection, you've protected yourself with the 7 spheres of golden light protection, you've done the cleansing and removal of psychic attacks and negative energies from yourself. The first phase, let's close the psychic door that can be the Achilles heel, so to speak, within yourself. Now this psychic door is a very interesting aspect of your spiritual anatomy, so to speak. It's more or less a spiritual filtration system which is connected to your subconscious mind. As I mentioned before, your subconscious is actually the seat of your memory, and it records every experience that you've had verbatim. It does not discriminate at all. It's just a massive collector of all your experiences on a daily basis in minutiae form. Okay, now your subconscious mind is particularly susceptible to these outside influences if you're not on guard. It's an extremely sensitive recording device that picks everything up that's happening around you as well. So sometimes, as a result, without your intending, your subconscious mind can actually take on and take in these negative mental currents, and for deliberate attacks. This is one area they exploit. So in order to protect your subconscious, your aura has actually built in a filtration process, and within the system the purpose is to shut out all these negative destructive thought currents and energy waves, and it only should allow the positive thought currents and beneficial energies to enter. Now what usually happens, unfortunately, is that through stress or sometimes physical illness, your guard is down, your mind is in a depressed state, and this door can actually open up. It can swing open unintentionally, and you know it can be exploited, because you'll be open to any thought moving within your periphery of your subconscious mind. Whether these are good, bad, or extremely nasty energies, you're going to be susceptible to all of them. Okay? So like I mentioned, this can actually be an Achilles heel, but we can remedy that. There is a remedy for this. Okay, now your psychic door or portal is located just behind your right ear. And if you have astral vision or clairvoyant vision, you probably see it. It's like a slate blue, or in other people, it's a bluish flap when it's open. Now, it's important that you close this door and keep it closed at all times, only allowing, like I said, the beneficial energies, the benevolent, I should say, thoughts from others to enter, and shut out all the negativity, all the attacks, all the malevolent energies directed at you. Now, you may sometimes suffer from a stiff neck, migraine, or feeling that in your head, that your head is extremely congested and heavy. Now, this could be a sign that your psychic door is actually open. So let's do this procedure. What I want you to do is place your right index and your third finger together. So the right index and third finger together. You're going to place these behind your right ear, covering this psychic door, and you're going to imagine a golden angel in the center of your head, in the middle of your head. Now you're going to see this angel's right hand extending out, and this angel will be shooting light rays and shutting the door from the inside. So it will be facing your psychic door. The fingers are pointing towards your psychic door, and it will be shooting out these energy rays or light rays from the inside, and you'll see that this psychic door is becoming sealed with 3 impenetrable white gold locks. Okay? Now, while you're doing this, you should be reciting a very strong prayer or affirmation in a very strong tone. For example, you may say something like, I command that my psychic door is completely sealed and impermeable to any negativity and any attack. It is completely sealed and locked with 3 impenetrable golden white locks. And I refuse, and I disallow, I do not permit any negativity to enter. I am completely shielded from all psychic attack and any malevolent energies. My psychic door is permanently and completely shut. Only the good, only the beneficial, only the higher benevolent spiritual energies that will aid me for my benefit can enter. Okay, now you can also envision this door sealing shut like the locks on a bank vault, if you like. Now, once you have successfully performed this exercise, your psychic door is closed. If by any chance you feel that your psychic door has become open again due to some trauma that you may have experienced or some emotional outburst, then just repeat this exercise. Okay? Alright, so now that we've dealt with that, let's do the next step. Now, the next thing you should do is calling upon your ancestors or your ancestral lineage. You should have an altar dedicated. Doesn't have to be too big, but an altar, it could be anything that symbolizes a place where you can remember and respect and pay homage to your ancestors. I have one, of course, in my house, and I encourage you to do so. Now, you'll find ancestral worship in various cultures in the East through Confucianism, respecting, remembering, and paying homage and revering the ancestral lineage is very important. So, what you should do is you should have an altar. Now, you can have candles along the flank of it. Make sure it's an area where it's not too dark, that it's a room where light can enter upon it. Doesn't have to be too bright, but some light. You can once again put candles, you can put flowers and so-called offerings of wine or water. That's up to you. I like to have a little gong or bell that I ring 3 times or clap 3 times before I call upon my ancestors. The other thing you should have is a glass of mineral water that you will offer. And what you do, you will begin by ringing this bell or gong 3 times, and you call upon your ancestors by lifting this glass of mineral water to the east, and you would say something along the lines of, I call upon my ancestors on my father's side. I thank my ancestors and call upon my ancestors on my father's side. I call upon my ancestors and thank my ancestors on my mother's side. And I salute you, and pour a little bit of water on the ground. Go to the west position, repeat that. Go to the north position, repeat, in the south position, and repeat. I also like to say, I call upon my ancestors from the beginning of time. I call upon my ancestors on my father's side. I call upon my ancestors on my mother's side. I thank and I salute you, and I ask for your protection and guidance. And you can also make a little prayer afterwards, outlining your request. And then once you've done this, of course, place the mineral water on the altar along with your other offerings that you've already placed upon it, and you can pray and send the nectar of your prayers. Imagine these offerings are dissolving in a smoke or energetic form, and see your ancestors, or feel your ancestors receiving this nectar, and it's nourishing and benefiting them as an exchange. Now you call upon your ancestors to protect you from any negativity, to defeat your enemy, so to speak, to thwart all attacks, to bring prosperity and protection in your daily life. That's another form of protection. So ancestral veneration is very important. The next thing you should do is the lesser ritual of the pentagram. I have a video on that, so please check it out, the LRP, lesser ritual of the pentagram, the way it's done there. And one thing to note is when you're doing it, I have specifics in there, the little tweaks, pay attention to that, but let me give you an extra bit of explanation that I didn't put in the video. People that have done the Golden Dawn system know it, but others may not be aware or may have forgotten. When you do the sign of the enter is when I thrust the arms up. You see me look upwards, and then I bring the arms to shoulder level and I thrust them forward, and I intone the so-called power word, and then I come back, and with my left hand, the first and third finger, forming the sign of silence. What this does is it's called the sign of silence, and this is done off the sign of the enter, because it stops the force you have activated with the initial sign. Okay, and it blocks the energies from leaking out. It seals these energies within you. So it stops any draining of your energy, any wanton leaking of your energies, and it's very important to do that. Okay, so do the lesser ritual of the pentagram. You can do the LIRP, the lesser invoking ritual of the pentagram, in the morning. And if you are feeling under attack or in a negative situation, do the lesser banishing ritual form at night before retiring. Okay? Alright, so having this system in place, now I've omitted rituals, etc., because I think you have to be proficient with these steps. If you do these steps that I outlined, it will thwart almost all, if not all, attacks that you are having from individuals. I will put up another video, or I will release a course which will be more in depth, and that will include certain rituals and advanced forms of protection, and also how to attack someone if you have to psychically, but that will come later. Believe me, if you follow these steps and do all these procedures that I've outlined, you will have total protection, or at least 99% protection from attacks from even seasoned practitioners. Look, I've been doing this for quite some time now, and I'm not one to dilly-dally. If someone is displeasing me or being a right ass, so to speak, I challenge them. And as a result, of course, these wimpy types, they can't take it physically, so these so-called occultists or witches or whatever that believe they're so powerful, even some well-known ones, have taken upon themselves to send me psychic attacks and try to have a malevolent effect on my life. And guess what? Nothing bad has happened. I've thwarted all attacks. Now, this is not I don't want to sound too arrogant, but I'm just explaining. I've thwarted all these attacks because I've done these base foundational procedures diligently and deliberately, and I've also done other rituals, etc., that have completely sealed me from attack. In fact, when I look upon things, I've seen that it's rebounded in most cases, and I see them living in hardship, in poverty, and they have all these physical problems, health problems. Some can't walk very well, some are going half blind, some have internal liver problems because all this hate and attack that they've sent out, it's rebounded upon them. Okay? So I have full confidence that if you do these techniques, methods, and procedures that I've outlined, 99% of these attacks will be eliminated. Okay? Now the 1% would be just in the rare case you're dealing with an entity that has come upon you. But even these, especially if you invoke the aid and help of your ancestors, they can usually take care of that. Alright? Anyway, these are the foundational methods that you need to protect yourself from psychic attacks, from magical attack. You will be victorious. You will start feeling a lot better. You'll see an immediate effect that you have negated the attack and rendered it redundant and nullified the negative energies. All right. So practice that, whether you're a beginner, intermediate, or advanced. These methods work. Okay. So I wish you a very happy day, and enjoy the rest of the week, and I'll talk to you again soon. Okay? Alright? Have a good one. Cheers.